Hello, everybody. Welcome to Whispers from Laurie's Realm and February's podcast series, which I titled Sirius Soul School, Initiations of Light, Sound, and Gatewalking. So, let's just get started with, we're going to start with episode 1, which is frequency calibration, training the emotional body to translate light. So, this series is not about belief systems, it's about experience. It's about how the body, the emotional field, and consciousness learn to work together to translate the frequency. It's not something abstract, but something lived. So this is my lived experience and what happened to me. So everybody has different experiences, right? We're not the same. We all have our own unique ways of translating our journeys and how we interpret them. So take a breath, and as we begin, let your body arrive before your mind tries to understand. So let's start with what is Sirius Soul School, or how I realized I was enrolled. I want to start by sharing where Sirius Soul School came from. It's a tongue twister, Sirius Soul School. Say that 10 times, Sirius Soul School. Because it wasn't something I planned. For a long time, I used to travel unconsciously in meditation. So I would drop into these deep states, disappear for what felt like no time at all, but was actually days at a time, and come back with these very clear aha moments. And when I say come back with these very clear moments, I didn't, I go in Tuesday, okay, say I'm like, oh my God, it's Thursday. How did that happen? Aha, everything came together. No, it took me a very long time to piece everything and even understand what the heck was happening. So they weren't visions, or they weren't stories that I came back with like right away, but it was just an understanding that would come in time. Sometimes it would come fairly quick, like in maybe a week to a month. I'd be like, oh my God, okay, yeah, and it was really bizarre. So at some point I started joking to myself that I must be getting taken to soul school, because I'd come back with lessons, and they were practical, and about how energies, emotions, sound, and consciousness actually work together. And that's when the phrase Sirius Soul School landed. Not a place, it's not a hierarchy, it's training ground for translation. And so I named it. This isn't it was real to me, but I don't know. But it didn't really have a name. I did name it. I like it. So Sirius as a frequency, it's not a location, so we're going to just ground this, okay? When I talk about Sirius, I'm not talking about escaping Earth and living somewhere else. Sirius in this context, like for me, it represents coherent frequency, harmonic intelligence, sound-based learning, and emotional mastery through vibration. So it's not about going there, obviously. It's about tuning here. So Sirius Soul School is about learning how to receive frequency, translate it through the emotional body, anchor it into the physical nervous system, and live it as presence and not identity. So that's what I came out with as a graduate from Sirius Soul School. I graduated with an A+. Frequency collaboration. The core teaching, this is what it's going to be. The core teaching is going to be about. So here's the foundation of today's episode. Okay, so you're not meant to receive frequency passively. You're meant to collaborate with it. Light doesn't bypass the body. Sound doesn't override emotion. And star codes don't replace lived experience. They move through the emotional body. And the emotional body must be trained to interpret vibration instead of reacting to it. So like how the body translates vibration for me will make it practical. I think this could work for everybody. Your body is a frequency interpreter, right? So vibration enters through the sound, breath, sensation, emotions, and attention. And when your system translates it through the nervous system, the emotional field, the chakra system, and the cellular memory, this means emotion is not problem sensation, it's not random. Vibrations in the body are feedback, not symptoms. Your body is constantly saying, here's how this frequency lands in me. Okay? So emotional as a translation, not as an obstacle. This is important in Sirius Soul School. Emotions is not something to transcend, it's something to train. And emotions is a vibration with meaning. And when emotion is untrained, frequency overwhelms, people disassociate, spiritual bypassing happens, downloads feel destabilizing. And when emotion is trained, frequency integrates, insights become embodied, and the nervous system stays regulated, and wisdom becomes usable. So this is where sound and chanting come in for me. Everybody has their own ways of doing things, so I'm not saying this is for everybody, but chanting for my chakras is what works for me. So the chakras they're listening centers, and I want to share a practice that came directly from my own experience. I work with 7 chakras, not as concepts, but as listening to stations in the body. Each chakra has a location, a vibration, and an emotional tone, a sound response. And I clear and activate mine through chanting. So 1 chakra at a time, not forcing, I don't visualize, but listening and feeling. How I work with chanting is a practical teaching. Here's how it works. I bring my attention to a chakra, for example, the root chakra. I chant slowly and allow the sound to move through my body. And I don't move until I feel the vibration in that specific area. So the first time I knew this was that I felt a block in my chakra, we'll say, it was my solar plexus. And I was doing my chants and everything was vibrating but that spot. And I was like, hey, okay. So that's how I caught on to how you can feel if your chakras are blocked. It doesn't vibrate when I chant for me. So I find this to be a really easy and effective way to work with your chakras and clear those energies. It really does help so much. It's like a birthright that we were just hidden from. They didn't want us to have it because it makes us healthy. So I clear and activate mine through chanting, and 1 chakra at a time. And what else? I'm lost here. Just a minute. Let me get my brain back. So when I'm like chanting, I just let it move through my body, and the vibration, once I feel it, I even could put my hand there sometimes, and I could feel it. I could feel that part of my body vibrating. So an emotional tone, a sound response, I clear and activate it, and then I don't move on until I feel that vibration in the specific area, and the sound feels received, not pushed, and the emotional tone softens or clarifies. Sometimes this takes seconds, sometimes minutes, and the body tells me when it's complete. So I'm just tuned into my body to know this frequency collaboration has happened. So why sound trains the emotional body? Sound does something light alone cannot do. Sound grounds vibration and organizes emotion. It regulates the nervous system, and it teaches the body safety and frequency. So this is why chanting, toning, and vocal vibration are ancient technologies. They teach the emotional body it's safe to feel this, and when the emotional body feels safe, light can land. So living star codes as experience. Let's talk about star codes for a moment. Grounded. Okay, let's grounded. Star codes are not symbols you memorize. They are patterns of coherence, and they show up with calm and clarity, sudden emotional resolutions, and feeling more yourself. And your alignment is without effort. When you train your emotional body, star codes don't feel dramatic. They feel familiar, like remembering how to breathe properly again. It sounds basic, but breathing properly is not something people are even conscious about until they are. So gatewalking, what that really means for me is gatewalking is traveling somewhere else. Gatewalking is moving between states of awareness, and while staying embodied, while staying present, and while staying regulated. So if you're not any of these things and you're gatewalking, it can become very unstabilizing. I was gate walking very unstably, and I just had the hardest awakening ever. Like, I have 100,000 hard stories, but I've just kind of put those behind me, and I've always known myself that I had to keep going through this for some purpose. There has to be a purpose for this, and I believe it's so that others, 'cause there was no information for me when I went through my awakening. There was nothing on the internet. I feel like I actually deciphered codes in the internet, like, to break it. During this other phase I had, seeking the knowledge. Oh, wow. It was crazy, right? But I figured, like, well, now it is different, because you don't have the same pictures anymore. The pictures used to be super scary. The collective pictures in our brains were just monsters. It was just very dark. We are moving into these lighter ages, thank God. And again, it's all in your mind. So you walk through gates of perception, not locations, and the emotional body is actually the gatekeeper, right? So, like I said, if it's overwhelmed, the gate closes. If it's trained, the gate opens naturally. I do believe, like, different, it doesn't always close if you're overwhelmed. I believe there are, I still believe that there are entities that can come open the gates for you and confuse you. So how this changes your daily life: when you practice frequency collaboration, you react less, you'll listen more, and your sense coherence is faster. You sense coherence a lot faster, and you trust your body's timing. So you stop chasing experiences, which I did. Like, if I had a real, a really good experience with a spiritual practice, I would chase it forever, not realizing that you can't have the same thing twice. But, I'm persistent. So your life becomes quieter and clearer and more precise. And I'm a living example of this, because I was quite noisy and quite a tornado. Oh, it's so crazy. So this is Sirius Soul School in action. Okay. Short integration practice. Now let's just do that. So really the whole point of this is, I don't know, to tell you the truth. It's just to bring awareness to people, maybe who are just not in a place, they're just not stable, or their emotional body hasn't, it's overwhelmed. Then there is a way to calm it through practices and stuff. But chakras is a great place to start if you're going through that stage where you're just overwhelmed with everything and you haven't learned to stabilize your frequencies and your vibrations, and they're not regulated. A great place to start would be with your 7 chakras, and there's tons of YouTube videos and chants you can practice. There's so much information out there for that. You can't be lost with it. So a short integration practice we can do right now before closing up here is, let's just pause for a minute and place a hand on your body anywhere, your choice. I'm putting mine on my heart. Anywhere you want to, maybe on your sacral, which is your lower belly, or your solar plexus, the middle. Maybe you want to put it in between your third eyes. Me, I'm putting mine on my heart. And ask quietly, what frequency am I translating right now? Now, there's no answer needed, just noticing. So you take a moment. You can practice this on your own time as well. So just start maybe paying attention to listening to your body and feeling the different areas of your body. Just noticing it. And that's how the training begins. So I'm going to close now this episode, and what's next in the next episode of Sirius Soul School, we're going to go deeper into sound as gate, emotional resonance versus emotional overwhelm, and how timelines converge through frequency coherence. So we're going to dive deeper into that for episode 2. And until then, remember, you're not trying to become something, you're learning how to listen more accurately, and welcome to Soul School.